Yeah, I mean, just finding different ways. I didn't feel like we played particularly well tonight, but finding ways to get wins, and that's going on some scoring bursts. That's being able to rely on multiple players, getting stops when needed, making adjustments and continuing to grow. I mean, this is a group that's been resilient all season long, and I think that we have such quality depth that we can rely on one another, and rely on one another in certain moments. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular from a stat sheet standpoint, but coming in and helping get a big defensive stop, or coming in and getting a big rebound, or coming in and setting a great screen. I mean, all of those little things, because this group knows and understands the value of those things. So I'm proud of them for continuing to stack days. We've got a ways to go, but it's nice to start this road trip off with a win.
And Kelsey and Aaron both talked about how they didn't think it was a consistent game either, and I think Kelsey talked about not putting the game away like she thought they should have. Just what did you see in the defense today?
Yeah, I mean, I think, certainly for us, there was two things that stood out. One, our fouling. Fouling too much, fouling shooters too much. Some of that is that we put ourselves in a bad position because we were 2 steps behind from the start. Some of that was not being in correct defensive rotation. And then not taking care of the ball. Those are 2 areas that we've been inconsistent with throughout the course of the season. And when we're good defensively, we're really good. And when we're not, and when we're not consistent on that end, we struggle. And I felt like we had it in moments throughout the course of the game, but enough to come away with the win, and that's what we needed.
And this is obviously the beginning of 4 games, 6 days on the road. Just how important is it to keep the mental sharp on this trip?
It's huge. It's huge. And, we got a long flight tonight, so making sure that we're doing everything that we can from a recovery standpoint, physically, mentally, and emotionally, being locked in, because we're not going to have a lot of high usage practice days. They're going to have to be mental days. So making sure that we can have a high attention to detail with our scouts, a high attention to detail, what we're looking for to get offensively, defensively, as well as the physical aspect of our recovery. So it's really important. And I think that's an area that this group has been good and got to continue to try to be better.
You mentioned that aspect of almost like an importance of balance, right? How do you find that balance, especially mid-season, when it's like, yes, at the same time you want your players to rest and recover, but you also anticipate in wanting to, make a deep playoff run?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the nature of the league, and I think that we have to, as coaches, be smart about the fact that now we're starting a West Coast swing, that we're playing every other day. That we're crossing 2 time zones tonight, and rely on our medical staff to advise us in some of those ways too. And then we gotta have accountability from our players to know that physically, if we can't go through everything on the floor, that they've got to mentally be locked in and be able to transition some of the mental reps, the film, the walking through to live action. And everybody learns in a different way. Everybody absorbs information in a different way. And so our job as coaches is to try to find the best of both worlds when we're in the midst of these kind of travel situations.
And I asked Kelsey in regards to or about this, but Erin, just the impact that she's had for you all this season. What do you like most about what you've seen from her thus far?
No, number one, her energy. I mean, she is she's an energy giver. She's fast. Her speed changes the game for us. Her ability to get the ball from one end to the other quickly. Her ability to get into players defensively. She changes the game for us in that way. I have continued to be impressed with just how quickly she immersed herself, into our team and fit in right away. She's a student of the game. She studies it. She knew the offenses before she landed. She just has been a great fit for us. And, I also love her accountability on the floor. I mean, she's a player who takes ownership and has really stepped in and led our team in a really great way.
Thank you.
Thank you.